Dumb thing. How do you set in? This is how do you set up in portrait or in landscape mode? But it didn't want to stay there for some reason. Yeah, we are sitting here working on one of my Prusa MK3S's. I just spent a total of about 25 minutes making the group ride dynamic video. What do you guys think of that? If you didn't see it, it's only like 2 minutes long, so it doesn't take very long. Feel free to hop over and take a look at that and come back if you want. Satirical, of course, and with a element of truth to it as well, for sure. But just something fun to do. Cindy and I got back not too long ago from Kennedy Space Center. We went there for like 3 days. When did we leave? We left Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Say Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and then left early on Tuesday. So that was fun. It's been a little while since I've done this, so I gotta refamiliarize myself. What I'm doing is I'm changing the hot end assembly on this. I've had some print issues with it, so I bought a new print head from, as a whole print hot end assembly from Printed Solid, printedsolid.com. They make some nice filament. They sell a lot of Prusa parts. They have good customer service, so I've had good results with them. Printedsolid.com. So you're going to see that this is going to get very messy very quickly. When I'm doing repairs and stuff like this, things kind of get a little crazy. If you guys are chatting, I can't see it. I don't know if can I see chat? Live chat. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's Mickey. Boring. Sorry, Mickey. Everything can't be as exciting as your walk through the office. I don't have any B-roll of the printer. Sorry. Hey, everybody has their niche, right? Okay, so the chat was there, and then it went away. Mickey has my hot end right here. Okay. Optimus can't see what I'm doing. Okay, well, here. Let's see, how can I do this better? I can move you back a little bit more, but then you should see how I have the camera here. It's kind of crazy. All right, there, you can see enough. This is what I'm doing. It's right here. You don't need to see me, right? Who wants to see me? I'm just washed up, no skill zombie rider, right? Alright, so let's take my magnetic plate off. This is not a how-to video. This is just a hang out while I'm screwing around. You can get a sense for how some of my projects go. Well, most of my projects, actually. They all kind of go in a screwed up way. I just cut the wire ties, because the way you do this is you just kind of temporarily split the hot end. I'm just loosening some screws to make it a little bit easier for me. Some space so I can wrangle that out. There we go. And right there is the hot end. All right, so now I have to push all the shit through the wire loom here. So wire loom, there is a this out of the way temporarily, right? Oh, we don't want to spill all these screws. Hey, you guys might be excited to hear that. Remember when I did all that work in the Sherman, a casualty of that work was the LED lights. I had to rip off the LED lights, and those LED lights did not stick on the Sherman. I could not reattach them. They would not adhere well once I pulled them off. So I actually took them to my office and I had them lighting up under my desk because I'm weird. But I have a new set of lights. And I managed to find a splitter for the controller. In theory, it's a splitter for the controller. Hopefully it works. And I'm thinking about what I'll be able to do is the lights will now be synchronized. Instead of them going, S-ing around the whole wheel. I know that bothered the OCD viewers in the audience. I will actually be able to, doesn't look too bad, I'll be able to have the lights synchronized on the Sherman. So OCD people rejoice. Should be able to make your dreams come true, hopefully. I just ordered that part yesterday, so it's going to take a little while. Alright, so what are we doing here? We are pulling out. For the hot end, there's two cables. This is the cable that powers the heater block that gets the hot end up to temperatures of approaching 300 degrees Celsius. Yes, Celsius. That's how hot a hot end in a 3D printer can potentially be. And then there's a second smaller wire, which is the thermistor, which monitors the temperature. It reports the temperature back to the system board, which is important because you want to know what the temperature is, right? Still trying to fuss with this a little bit. I don't know if I should try to go back more. I don't know. Whatever. Alright, so here is my new printhead. It's weird, when they give you a new printhead, they don't give you a new tube here. This tube goes into the hot end. It's a piece of PTFE tubing that they do not give you a new one for. I guess I should make sure that this is okay. Okay, I don't feel any blockage or anything. So we're just gonna stick this in here. Yes, that's what she said. We're gonna stick it in all the way, and then we're gonna. There's a little like collet that you stick under here that keeps the PTFE tube locked in place. There we go. All right, so usually things work out better for me if I attach this first to the, I put the new hot end back in, and then if there's extra wiring, I can just stuff it back here, because you don't want extra wiring flopping around up where things are moving around the print head. So let's see if we can do that. When you're doing this, the print head, the wires go to the. Let me just make sure. It's nice that I have a bunch of other printers for reference here. The wires go on your left, and you just kind of. There's like a form here that you there's like a mold basically for this hot end that you just get it in there Mush it back together. There we go. All right. Okay, so the hot end itself is back in there. But we need to get these screws back in so it doesn't fall out. And I'm not doing like final tightening here. There's people on here. There are some people here. If you're chatting, I'm not seeing it though. Live chat. I tell it to do live chat, but UVX trying to raise production value from afar. Yeah. Oh, someone did a super chat. Wow. Jeez. That's nice. Oh, Francisco. Hey, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. UVX is critical of the $3 chat. Come on, man. Hey, it could be 50 cents, man. I appreciate it because it's money that people don't have to give. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You'll pay me $5 to change the camera angle. All right, that's easy money. Let's see. What do you want? A top angle? How's this? But you're not gonna like this, Mickey, because you don't like when things are messy, obviously, based on your comments from the last video. Let's see. Guys, I really don't have a lot of great options here. All right, let's try this. If you saw what I'm working with, operation is locked. Yes, I know. Rotate back. Okay. How about this? No, that's terrible. How about that? I have you wedged in the filament holder for my, there you go. You're wedged in the filament holder for my Prusa Mini. How's that for creativity? Alright. So anyways, guys, when you're doing this kind of stuff, trying to watch, I think this is the first time I've ever live streamed on my phone. So it might be the last time, I don't know. The concept is kind of cool. But I can't see the chats unless I touch the phone, which I don't really want to keep having to do this. Touch live chat. Okay, there you go. Watch him lose his shit and just break everything. Luckily for me, I've done this enough that I probably won't have tremendous difficulty. You know, nothing along the lines of like when I was messing with the Sherman. I do need to make sure that is straight. All right. I mean, if you guys are really a glutton for punishment, I have the printer right behind me there. That's my my Creality Ender 3 Pro. I have a hot end for that as well. I need to swap that out too. So I mean, if this goes well, I mean, maybe we'll just do live streams on the phone from now on. Screw the videos. And I know this isn't as cool as Mickey's new office. Did anyone else notice it seemed like Mickey, with his office, he kind of ripped off my hobby room? I've heard that. I've heard a rumor that people are kind of disgruntled about that they don't like that he kind of stole my office layout for his new production studio. I mean, I don't care personally, but some people apparently do. Okay. All right, that's in. Let's get this one in. We have 9 simultaneous viewers. That's awesome, man. Wow. So what do you guys think about group ride dynamics, man? I feel much better now I know what that actually means. I totally understand group ride dynamics and why people do what they do. So, sleep much better tonight, that's for sure. Alright, so this has to go through here. Okay. Let's see, I need some zip ties. Michael, what's up, man? What'd you say? They'll throw some RGB lights in that bitch and make it pop. What, on my Prusa? Yeah, sure. You could. Some people do. Some people really deck these things out, believe it or not. I do not. It's not that important to me. Alright, so right now we are trying to just get some zip ties around here loosely, just to kind of corral the wires. Let's get this over here. I'm just trying to keep these wires under control for now. Alright, so as I was starting to say, Cindy and I were up in Kennedy Space Center for a few days. It's nice, you know. First sort of road trip since COVID started. You know, I'm now fully vaccinated, so I didn't have to really worry about a mask in most spots except in Kennedy Space Center, because Kennedy Space Center is a federal property, and the federal government has not relaxed its masking rules yet. So everywhere inside Kennedy Space Center, now if you were fully vaccinated, you did not have to wear a mask outdoors, but you were supposed to be wearing one in queue lines, like if you were queued for a ride, or indoors. Anything indoors, you had to have a mask on regardless of your vaccination status. So it was fine. You know, I don't get bent out of shape if I'm asked to wear a mask. They also have restricted the hours at the Space Center. Like, we went there on Monday, it was only open from 10 to 4. That's it, 6 hours. So I mean, we were hustling all day, you know, hustling, and we did not get to see everything that we would have wanted to see. And we had to kind of make some decisions. So that was a bit of a bummer, but I don't know how long they're going to keep the hours that restricted, but 6 hours is not a lot of time, especially if you're going to go to the Apollo Center, because you have to take a bus to get over to the Apollo Center, you know, where they cover all the moon landing stuff. That's like a 20-minute ride both ways, and it's very difficult. I would say it's kind of impossible to see everything that they have there in 6 hours. So, but what we did get to see, we did enjoy, so that's what matters, right? It's an enjoyable time. I've been to the Kennedy Space Center a few times. I think this was my third time. Third time going, and this was Cindy's second time. So I kind of knew what to expect, but they did change a bunch of stuff. I was last there, wow, maybe somewhere around 8 years ago. So it's been quite a while, and in those 8 years, they've made a number of changes. There was a lot of stuff that seemed like they had changed since I've been there last, so that was cool. I'm glad that they keep things interesting. We both did the shuttle launch simulator. That's fun. You have this ride that they put you in. It basically looks like the shuttle bay, more or less. You're in there with maybe, I don't know, 20 other people, 25, I don't know, a bunch of people. and it simulates a shuttle launch. And at one point, you are literally on your back, and it does a pretty good job of simulating G-forces, and shakes the hell out of you. It's a good ride. Unfortunately, it also took us probably close to an hour until we cleared it. So, with time being as tight as it was, that was one of the reasons that we did not get to see everything, because we chose to go on that ride. But it was worth it, I think. We also spent some time in Cocoa Beach. Like, we went to Kennedy Space Center on Monday, but on Sunday we gave ourselves the whole day just to do whatever the hell we felt like doing. And we wound up going to the Cocoa Beach area. We went to the Ron, like, Cocoa Beach is the home base for Ron John, the surf shop Ron John. So we went there, we checked that out, that was cool. We rode the one wheel around. I rode the one wheel, Cindy had her Mini Pro. I rode my one wheel all over the place. That was a lot of fun. And then we had dinner twice during the trip up there in Cocoa Village, which is a small, kind of quaint area in the same general region that has a lot of, like, restaurants. You just walk around and chill out, and it was a good time. Again, something that we haven't gotten to do in a long time for obvious reasons. So we had a lot of fun. Okay, so this is now secure. I had to just move the connector from the old hot end to the new one. That you do have to move that. So now you need to plug that back in, both connectors. You want to pay attention to how they came out, obviously, and what location they came out of. Very important details. Plugging my thermistor back in, and I'm shadowing my light so I can't see, so I'm kind of working blind. Come on. I have it the wrong way? I might have it the wrong way. I probably have it the wrong direction. It wouldn't be a video for me. Yep, I had the cable in the wrong direction. I always have to have something backwards screwed up in the wrong spot. That's almost a requirement in most of my projects, if you haven't noticed. Alright, so I'm going to put a tie wrap down here to keep this together. I'm just kind of stuffing these wires back in. Now, Prusa would probably not recommend using the word stuffing when it comes to how you're putting wires into the control box, but if I'm being honest, that's really what I'm doing. I'm just stuffing them in. Should be done in the control box. I'm going to close that up and then just concentrate on getting the hot end tight and together, and dropping tools on the floor. You guys, I can give you a new view. I mean, if you're really bored with that view. Let's see. This chat interface is stupid. Clay, hey, what's up, Clay? My mother's fully vaccinated and now has COVID. I've heard other people say that, actually. I've heard other stories of people that were fully vaccinated and have COVID, or have gotten COVID, and that's kind of not the ideal situation. But I mean, my understanding is that you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated, right? You can still get it. But your reaction to it should be less if you're vaccinated. Your body should react to it quickly and be able to fight it off faster. That is my understanding now. Obviously, maybe that's not the reality for some people. I actually heard of someone that had it in California, I believe, had the vaccination and died actually from COVID. So. But it's it's a minute percentage that would happen to, obviously, but it's still a possibility. That concerns some people, but I'm just kind of going with the odds. I'm hoping I'm with the odds on this. All right, so. Get this hot end squared up. Square. Turn to the side. I'm going to try to tighten this up a little bit. And it's funny, like when I first started messing with 3D printers, when you have some of these problems that I'm having, like print quality problems and stuff, there's all these troubleshooting steps you can do. Do you guys like this angle more? You can see more, I guess. There's all kinds of troubleshooting you can do. You can take the nozzle apart. You can clean the nozzle. You can do cold pulls to help with under extrusion. There's all kinds of little small troubleshooting steps that you can do. And I used to try to do all of them. And what I found is sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I found myself falling into like a black abyss of just troubleshooting. And I would be, spending all this time troubleshooting shit. And I'm at the point in my life where, in some situations, time is more valuable than money. And I know that when I replace the entire hot end assembly, there's almost it's almost certain that my problem is going to be fixed. So that is what I do now. I don't spend a lot of time trying to troubleshoot issues. I'll do some very simple stuff, but if it doesn't work quickly, I'm just getting a new hot end assembly and throwing it in there and get back up in business. Definitely not the cheapest way to go about things, but like I said, at a certain point, time is more valuable than money in some people's lives. All right, so let's make sure that pieces snap in there. Right, there we go. And some of you might not be aware of this, but Prusa is one of the more expensive 3D printers out there, but they're kind of unique because they are famous for basically 3D printing a large portion of the parts that are used for this printer. So you have Prusas that are printing parts for other Prusas. If you've ever seen the print farm for Prusa, it's incredible. It is incredible what they do. I don't remember what the percentage of 3D printed parts are, but there are a bunch of them. Like that's 3D printed, that's 3D printed, that's 3D printed. The frame is metal, that's obviously not 3D printed. And you have these high quality motors and fans and all that kind of stuff. But there is a lot of 3D printed parts in a Prusa. Right, but all right. So that, I think I have it good. So now let me tighten up these zip ties here. Make sure I'm staying straight. All right, I am. So I have a total. Let's see. One, two, three. I have 4 Prusa MK3Ss. I have 3 of them here. I have 1 at my office. I have 3 Prusa Minis. Right, here's one, and I have another one at my office. In addition to that, I have 5 other printers in here. An a Creality Ender 3, a Creality CR10 Pro, a Creality CR6 SE, an Anycubic X, and I think that covers it. And to be quite honest, I do almost all my printing on these Prusas. It's kind of a waste for me to have some of these other printers. Oh, I have an Anycubic Huron as well. It just kind of sits there and acts as a table because I don't trust it, because it has a bad habit of locking up during long prints. So I don't trust it really anymore. But I do have it still. I probably need to do some consolidation. You know, I think I bought more printers than I really need, just because I don't know, it's fun to buy stuff, right? But I could probably drop 2 or 3 printers and not really have an impact to my ability to fulfill store orders and do recreational printing as well. So maybe that'll be one of my 2021 to-dos. We'll see. All right, so that should be good. So since I did the work here, usually what I'll do when I'm working on a printer is I'll do a little bit of PM. In this case, just kind of lubricating the rails. There's some Prusa lubricant, official Prusa lubricant. And actually, I kind of have my best results when I just use my finger. Fingers and just apply it that way. Several sets of polished rails. I probably don't do this as much as I should. I know I don't. The rails there, you got rails on the bed here. Imagine if this works first try. Maybe something else, wouldn't it? When you change the print head like this, you do have to do a calibration, and because the nozzle, the hot end nozzle, could be slightly higher or lower than it was previously. So there's a calibration process you have to go through. Okay, so if I was really, really confident, I would take this and throw it back at its spot over there, but I'm not, because I know better. As soon as I get really, really confident, that's when things go really, really wrong. So I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in over here, and I'll do a calibration and a short print over here. Who says I don't learn from my mistakes? I have learned in the past that it's good to test stuff. And for anyone that is actually familiar with 3D printers, I have a 0.4 nozzle on this. That's what I have. All right, so we need to let's do some filament. How about some nice green? I actually made a set of exo armor for someone in this green. Made a special request. Like if you're into exo armor for your Sherman, you know, there's probably about maybe half a dozen colors in flex I can do. But if you do the hard exo armor, the amount of colors is pretty much endless. I mean, you can do almost any color if you do the hard exo armor. So we're gonna let it heat up here. Let's see. Is anyone else saying anything? Probably are. This interface is done, man. Because I have to do shit to. All right. Let's see what you're saying. While we're heating up here, let's look at some chat. Okay. The old house with stuff. Had the fire extinguisher ready? Yes, for instance. I have my fireballs here. I got my my AFO cheap fireballs still around the room. Let's see. Francisco hasn't been to the Kennedy Space Center since 5th grade. Well, you should go, man. It's cool. And the Ron John Surf Shop is still there and probably bigger than ever. Pedro, what's up, man? Nice to see you too. Oh, did I see Leo's there? This is a great angle, right? This is a very flattering angle. All right. Leo, what's up? 18 teenagers got heart conditions in CT after getting the stabbies. Well, I wouldn't rule anything out. How would you know if you have had it worse? Drug companies have not been honest in the past. I definitely do not trust drug companies. And if you do, you're very trusting. Rep. What filament do I prefer, Pedro? I've moved around with the filaments that I use. Let's stick you back over there. For flex, I use exclusively now the Polyflex TPU 95. I've had good success printing that. I've had a lot of problems in the past printing TPU, and I finally seem to have the combination that works well. I have the settings dialed in and I can print it pretty reliably, so that's what I use for flex. For hard PLA, right here you see eSun. I get almost all my filament off of Amazon. I do buy some stuff from filament from Printed Solid as well, who I got this hot end from. All right, we got some filament coming out. So you're doing stuff. That's good. That's a good start. Usually, when you put a new hot end in, you will smell it. As the first time when it heats up, you'll probably think, "Hey, man, what's burning?" That's kind of normal when you put a new hot end in. So now we're gonna do the first layer, calibration. And what this basically does is it's going to print a pattern on the sheet, and I'm going to get down low at eye level, and you're looking how the filament's coming down. You basically want it to be kind of squished, but not too much. But if the filament's too low, you'll scrape the print surface. You could damage the hot end. You'll have a bad first layer. If it's too high, you have opposite problems. It won't adhere well, and your print can come off during the print job. So this is just something that, again, experience helps with. I've leveled lots of printers. Now the Prusa is nice because it does have an automatic leveling sensor, so that there's no knobs on a Prusa to adjust the bed. With a lot of my other printers, like the Crealities, there's knobs on there where you have to go through a whole process where you move the print head to different spots in the bed, and you have a piece of paper that you're sliding under the hot end, and then based on how much drag you feel on the paper, you're adjusting those knobs left or right. With the Prusa, you cannot do that because it goes through a calibration process before every print, which you will see coming up here shortly. It does probing, where it goes to 27 different spots, I believe, and it just probes the bed, because even though a print surface looks flat, it's not unusual for there to be slight undulations in the print surface. And then what happens is you might be good at one spot on the bed, but another spot it might be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. When you have this calibration going on, the printer is actually measuring for that. So it will just automatically add those little differences as it's going across the print to make up for those little undulations. So that's one of the advantages of a auto leveling printer. One of the many reasons I like the Prusas. But like I said, they are very expensive. If you buy the Prusa MK3S, I haven't checked lately, but if you buy a Prusa MK3S pre-assembled, it's like $950, I believe, from the Czech Republic. If you buy the kit, it's only $750, but then you are going to be committing probably 8 to 10 hours of build time, at least for me. I only built my first Prusa MK3S. I did not build any others because it was a headache for me. Some people think it's a badge of honor to build your own Prusa, but for me, doing it once was enough. All right, so I'm just watching this. I'm looking at the gap between the print head and the build plate. I'm looking at the filament to see if there's a decent squish. Looks pretty good so far. It's basically just doing a left and right rectangle, more or less, and then at the end it does a small rectangle that it actually fills in. And then in theory, if everything looks good on that test print, you should be ready to go. Typically what I'll do is I will start like a smaller test print just to make sure that we're good before I put it back in its spot and like start building the stand parts. I want to make sure that we're good. So I did have to change the Z height. Z is the up and down height. I changed it slightly. I had to move it up a little bit, a little higher up than it was previously. It's looking pretty good though.